So could Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO and the owner of Twitter, buy TikTok? That's the subject of today's video. And check out this headline here. It says, Trump says he would be open to his pal Elon Musk owning TikTok. So simply put, yes, he could, meaning that Elon Musk could buy TikTok. I think Elon is still in the front running position for this thing. When asked about it, Trump said, I would be if he wanted to buy it, meaning would you be open to Elon Musk buying TikTok? Trump also said here it's worthless, talking about TikTok, it's worthless if it doesn't get a permit. With a permit, it's worth like $1 trillion. So that's according to Trump, which is kind of a ludicrous number, but I just want to tell you what Trump says. Trump also said, what I'm thinking about saying is somebody is going to buy it and give half to the United States and half will give you the permit. The basic gist of it is Trump's trying to figure out how to make money off this deal. So that's what's going on. I think they have 90 days or something to make a deal. So I'm sure we'll hear something. Other people are already making bids. So Mr. Beast, his name is Donaldson. He's the biggest YouTuber out there. If you watch my channel, you probably don't know who Mr. Beast is. I barely know. It's basically children's programming. He does like a reality shows, that kind of stuff. So yeah, he could totally buy TikTok. He just put in a bid. There was talk that maybe Larry Ellison maybe could buy TikTok. That's the Oracle guy. Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank dude, he's out because he's Canadian. The headline is Kevin O'Leary says he would love to do a TikTok deal, but the law prevents it. Remember, Kevin O'Leary supposedly met with Trump to negotiate making Canada the 51st state. So this whole thing is a clown show. TikTok itself is also a clown show, but all these things put together represent sort of the culture and the news cycle that we're in, which we're going to talk about. Now, why is Elon Musk the front runner? I mean, obviously he's buddy with Trump, although they've having a bit of a falling out lately regarding that Stargate thing where Musk is saying you don't got the money. Could Musk have the money to get TikTok? At the moment, I don't think Musk would have the cash, so he'd have to figure out a way to get outside investors. And then again, Trump's got to figure out a way to get his piece of the pie. So that's what this is all about. According to Elon Musk, as he tweeted out this a few hours ago, or actually this is a couple days ago, I should say, he says, I have been against a TikTok ban for a long time because it goes against freedom of speech. That's from Elon Musk. He also says here, that said, the current situation where TikTok is allowed to operate in America, but X is not allowed to operate in China is unbalanced. Something needs to change. So the mere fact that he mentioned China in this particular post, this is back, 5 days ago, January 19th, makes me feel like that he'll put together some sort of deal with China. Trump will make his money. China will be appeased because they can still request data from Elon Musk. Because remember, they own Elon Musk, basically. Musk has a factory in China, in Shanghai, and much of his business is reliant on China. So, essentially, if China has you under control and you're trying to make a deal with the U.S.-China stuff, it'll give the appearance to the public that, hey, it's partly owned by the USA, but in reality, like Musk being controlled by China, you guys understand what I'm saying here. So they could request data whenever they wanted, and Musk could give it to them. There's always been concerns about Musk and security risks, so do be aware of that. Be his contact with President Xi in China or President Putin over in Russia. Musk is the kind of dude that, this is just 3 hours ago, I always check from time to time what he's up to. He says, we will do our best to help America. Tweeting out a picture of a dog smoking, I guess, and it says, when everyone is celebrating the end of woke stuff, but you live in Europe, so you can be the judge of what that means. The guy's basically a troll. 4 hours ago, Musk was tweeting out, how many radical leftists does it take to screw in a light bulb? Radical leftists, that's not funny. Me, haha, or laughy face. And then 4 hours ago, it says, when I see the troll emoji, right? Got the troll emoji there. It's like looking in a mirror. So he acknowledges himself as a troll. And the thing with the Musk and the Trump thing, and I'll be curious your guys' thoughts on this. Who's the bigger internet troll? Is it Musk or Trump? Because they're clearly the internet troll number one and number two. But I think it goes back and forth on who is number one. And I want to start with this, talking about this whole Musk buying TikTok, to sort of lead into how it's just very toxic out there in our online media social world. and also too in our traditional media world. And I've told you guys many times, I worked in Hollywood. I actually write about it in my book. It's called Positive Angle. Please check it out if you can. Um, there's a lot of things I talk about in the book, but part of sort of making it in this media landscape is your mental health, to be really frank, because you have to deal with all sorts of like, what's what we say, unscrupulous people, people that don't have you back, people like lie to your face. It is a cutthroat industry. You could argue real estate is kind of like that industry. There's a lot of industries out there. Used car salesman, Musk is a used car salesperson. Trump is a slumlord. Like all these kind of people, it's tough to deal with. And if you go in with the sincere heart and just want to build relationships, etc., you might find yourself disappointed when you figure out that a lot of these people are two-faced, or as Musk says, when I see the troll emoji, it's like looking in a mirror. So I want to give you another example. So like, for example, one of the people who could buy TikTok, the Donaldson guy, he was hit with a bunch of lawsuits. Was this the beast of a lawsuit, the YouTube star and Amazon? Yeah, so they both got sued by contestants over abuse claims. I made a few videos about this a while ago, and just this is how it works basically. Donaldson, I think he's a college dropout, probably drinks a bunch of Gatorade or whatever, started making a bunch of stunt videos, however he got popular on YouTube. And actually, I think he started counting on YouTube like 1 to 100,000 or something was his thing. And then now he does basically the kind of game show stuff for kids. And it's not surprising to me that this particular type of person then would run his operations in a way that, isn't really that favorable to employees, maybe not nice to, contestants, etc. And a lot of stuff that he does and say, be it running, whether or not he's running illegal sweepstakes less lotteries, who knows? If you want to dig down that rabbit hole, you can. But I'll just say people don't necessarily have your best interest at heart. And a lot of this stuff is entertainment, and in the entertainment world, like I said, it's really cutthroat. On top of that, we have like a changing media landscape. It was just announced today, CNN, where they laying off, it says hundreds here. Fox went with the headline that CNN is laying off 6% of the workforce. This is a little bit misleading because it is true they're laying off, but they're also going to rehire, or I should not say rehire. They're going to hire in a different department. So basically, they're looking to go more kind of an online platform and like a paywall. We'll see if they ended up, competing with YouTube in a way or something like that. I mean, they can't go full out competition with YouTube, but, point being that things, going more online, digital, people watch stuff on their phone. People are watching, say cable TV less. So in terms of like, Elon Musk, cause he likes to tweet out every day and he has all his followers and his paid promoters say the same thing, that, your cable news is dying off and people are moving to other, platforms, which I completely agree with. I don't disagree. But we're in a whole other era, because, when you move into other platforms, it is the Wild West, as you guys know. I also want to point out something with CNN, which people don't talk about enough, is like, it's not just them. NBC is laying off employees. That was just announced today. The headlines. I'm not sure if Fox is laying off or not. Fox likes to brag about their ratings, but it's always a bit disingenuous because Fox is kind of in their own little corner of the, the TV world, where the other networks are competing for the same kind of audience. Meaning that if you're, right leaning and you want to see, conspiracy theories, that kind of stuff, Fox is your only place on TV to see that. And then you'll just go over to, social media, YouTube, otherwise, right? Opposed if you were, say, more centrist or, more left leaning, there's a lot more competition on the other side. So like I said, it's always misleading when Fox says they're the leader, because they're competing for, they're very few competition in that particular audience. On top of that, you have to manage the budgets of these type of companies because they are traded. So, for example, Netflix had a pretty good earnings, and they really changed the industry as well, as you guys know, because I want to put this all together. It's not just news, it's media. And it would actually be really interesting if Netflix ever got involved with news. I'd just be interesting. I kind of doubt they would, but you never know in this world. Because I think Netflix is getting involved in sports. I remember they made a deal with the professional wrestling. I can't remember if there's stuff on there or not. And it varies by region. So like we have Korean Netflix. So sometimes our content maybe a little, in ours region will be maybe a little bit different than your content, depending on which region you're in. So for example, when I always recommend, I'll just tell you, the show like say American Factory, which is a Netflix documentary, that should appear in all regions. Well, yeah, it would be. As I was to say, except for China, but China doesn't have Netflix at all, so then it doesn't even really matter. But it should appear in all regions, whereas like or Squid Game would appear in all regions. Where if I say the 1987 movie, which I recommended, it's a Korean movie, or the other Korean movie 12/12 the Day, that might vary on region, because some people say that your region is different. On top of that, the reason I mention this stuff is that, remember, this is a business, right? And so people look at the ratings, people look at the bottom line. So like, for example, this came out was a couple days ago. Why a Wall Street analyst just upgraded Warner Brothers Discovery but downgraded Fox stock, right? And this is sort of why they track these things together. You're looking at, can you attract advertisers or not? What are we paying employees? You may or may not know this, but some of these like anchors on TV get paid ludicrous amounts of money. Sean Hannity, I just did a quick Google search. This was on, I think it's from The Street. This came out November 19th, 2024. So these are fairly recent numbers. According to this, Hannity gets paid like $45 million a year. It's a pretty ludicrous amount of money if you think about it. Diane Sawyer, $22 million. Robin Roberts, if you guys know these people, these are like ABC, $18 million. George Stephanopoulos, $15 million. Anderson Cooper, $12 million. And then Shepard Smith, $10 million. But I want you to understand that the way this sort of media thing is done, be it YouTube or otherwise, it depends who you know, especially in the, that's why I say YouTube or others. We'll go in a minute here. Because the cable networks, for example, say Anderson Cooper, a lot of people don't know this, but he's from an extremely wealthy family. He's a Vanderbilt. Pull it up right here. You guys can see this. So he's age 57, part of the Vanderbilt family. Here's more here. It says, born in Manhattan, New York City, the younger son of Wyatt Emery Cooper and artist Gloria Vanderbilt, right? So I guess his mom is a Vanderbilt. And then his grandparents are millionaire equestrian Vanderbilt, and then part of the Vanderbilt family. And it also says socialite Gloria Morgan Vanderbilt. So you guys can look that stuff up. I mention this stuff because, until you actually see it behind the scenes, you don't realize how decisions are made isn't necessarily based on quote qualifications, right? And that's why with the whole Trumpy stuff going after DEI, it's like the whole DEI stuff was actually to fight against this cronyism, or only hiring people that look like you or from your family. Like remember, Trump's the kind of person that wants to only hire his family. But I want to make it clear, it's not just Trump. It's many families out there, which I understand. Like I get, like from a human perspective, you say, hey, my son needs a job, or my daughter needs a job. You call up whatever CEO that's your buddy, and that's sort of how the world is done. But don't make any pretending, don't pretend all that's anything to do with merit. It's like it's to do with family, right? And so it becomes more obvious, if you've ever been in this world, and that's sort of stuff I talk about in my book, when you go to these kind of places and then you realize, wow, these people aren't smarter than me. They don't work harder than me. They're not even nice, right? In fact, they're quite mean, and they get jobs because of their connection. So once you realize that world, it changes the way you see things. Like for example, when I watch these people on Fox News, this is the five, and they rotate their host. But anyone who watches this stuff, it should be obvious these people are basically actors. Most of them aren't particularly bright, and they're just told what to say. They're just actors. That's all it is. And it's the same way as The View, right? So I don't spend that much time talking about these people usually, because it's all dumb entertainment to me. But there is an audience for this stuff. Although I think it is dying out. So like I said, the Elon Musk stuff is right in the sense that we're seeing shift, and you're seeing CNN juggle their staff around. If you're curious on like particular news biases, you can take a look at this chart. This is a pretty reasonable chart, I think. It shows you that who's in the center, right, left, this kind of stuff. But the thing is, like, for the average person, I think a lot of it depends on your age. Young people these days, they actually do watch TikTok. I don't look at TikTok at all. To me, it's like too short. What is this, like 30-second to minute videos? A lot of it's dumb entertainment. And sadly, if Elon Musk takes that over, then they can start kind of pushing out, basically lies nonstop, which is a massive problem. And this is kind of the world that we live in. I'll give you an example here. I'll tell you the details, but if you want to read this article for yourself, please do. The headline was NBC exec apologized for creating a monster by embellishing Trump's business success for The Apprentice. The basic gist of it was when they were looking to make the show The Apprentice, how long ago was that? Was that like 2003 or four already? It was a while ago, like 20 years ago. They needed to find a CEO that everyone would know. All the good CEOs were busy. Trump was available, and Trump likes TV, right? And so they on the TV show they basically created this character of Trump that he was like really good at business, even though the dude had multiple bankruptcies, had to doesn't pay his employees, doesn't treat people well, and they just it's a TV character, right? So basically he came in and played a TV character, and then when they picked the contestants, they're not particularly the best candidates out there. It was all a sham. And like I said, please read this, but the producer now apologizes that they made Trump look too good because then people actually believe the lies. On top of that, if you haven't seen this movie, see the movie Bombshell. It's about inside look at Fox. Done very, very well. I'll just say this. There's a lot of sexism that goes on at these kind of places. But I also want to make it clear, it's not just Fox, right? It's not just males against females. Ellen was abusive over at her show. It's rampant in Hollywood. So don't just think just because if I replace a bunch of mean dudes, then I'll get a bunch of nice ladies. It's not necessarily the case. Ladies can be mean too, the same way that dudes can be mean. That's Hollywood, and or that's media, or that's corporate America. You could argue, right? I'm sure there's all sorts of crap that goes on, and not everyone wants to participate in that world. Me being one of them. I'm just if someone treats me a certain way, I don't need that job that bad. I don't want that job that bad. But everyone's going to be different, right? Like for example, Matt Lauer. So he was, I'm just trying to show you how ugly this world is. NBC fires Matt Lauer for alleged inappropriate sexual behavior, this kind of stuff, right? So when certain people get in certain power, they can say, hey, just for example, I don't know Matt Lauer's details. If you want to look it up, you can, but the way you treat interns, the way you treat your secretaries and people underneath you, I'm sure you guys kind of know, that world. At least you should have a general idea. It shouldn't be shocking to you how some people can behave. It is not a good situation. Or another one, Bill O'Reilly, he always had some sort of sexual stuff against him. And they always settle, right? So, not every person is Bill O'Reilly or Matt Lauer or Ellen, not everyone out there is like that, but I'll just say it is ugly when you see how people get to the top and how see how people behave behind closed doors. YouTube, but don't expect it to necessarily be better. And that's sort of why I point this stuff out. For example, Russia was paying some of these YouTubers on the right to put out misinformation, etc. I made videos about this stuff, and if you guys don't know, actually the Russia Today, or it's RT, I think is what it's called now. They actually reached out to me to come on their program. I said no. It's like, dude, you're Russia propaganda, I talk about it in my videos, but not everyone says no. Some people take the money. So the Tim Pool guy, he's all about that. And this is, sadly, this is the world that we live in. For some people, money is the most important thing in the world. I won't lie. I mean, money matters, but it's not the end all be all. There are other things out there to worry about. I'm not just gonna hang out with people because they're super rich. It's not what I want to do. Like I wouldn't hang out with, for example, isn't Sean Combs in trouble right now? Or I wouldn't. It just if someone's like, hey, Sean Combs is really rich and he's got lots of money and having these like really extravagant parties, and then you get there and you see what's going on, and some people decide, well, and everyone has to make that decision. Some people have to decide, well, oh, I just want to hang out with Sean Combs, he's got money. And you have to determine if morally, if that's what you want to do when you see the kind of stuff that they're doing. And I'll just say that this stuff goes on in all phases of society, unfortunately. In America, there's a lot of substance abuse, which I think substance abuse, power abuse, all kinds of stuff. It's just ugly out there. And like I said, I laugh about it because it's like when I see what's going on, I'm just like, how do people fall for this stuff? I think a lot of it boils down to this like chase for money, and there's a lot of different reasons why. That's just one explanation. Here in Korea, for example, I had heard rumors, and it ended up being true. President Yoon was like watching right-wing YouTubers. And when I saw it for myself, when he, in his speech of like why he tried to do an illegal martial law and use the military on local people, and he started talking about YouTube conspiracy theory stuff, I was like, what the heck is this guy talking about? But that's what it is. On top of that, just more recent news, inauguration rating numbers were down for Trump this year. He cares a lot about because he's making a TV show over there, the White House Trump Musk TV show, right? But people don't pay attention to that stuff so much anymore. And I don't know, it's hard to predict the future because when we go to the youth generation, I think the young people are going to be a little bit more savvy in determining BS or not, and that's sort of why some people rotate to certain platforms because they perceive to be more authenticity. I'll just say this, like just the way, like I said, that's why I showed you the Anderson Cooper example or all the examples of the abuses. Just the way things are, hired isn't necessarily fair or honest, and this could be multiple organizations. And then on top of that, which is interesting about the YouTube model, is yes, anyone could actually theoretically be successful on YouTube, but it's tricky because like no one actually knows for sure how the algorithm works. As I told you guys many times on this channel, I don't pay any money to promote my videos on YouTube, because YouTube these days, they actually accept money. If you want to boost any of your videos, you can pay YouTube money. So I don't know how many channels do that kind of thing. Because sometimes I wonder, and the way, and you'll kind of know this if you're on YouTube, that when you look at some channels and they got like tons of views, but like 2 or 3 comments, it's kind of weird. It doesn't match up, right? And when you hang out in our community, you'll start to figure out, okay, these are real people that we're talking to. you can tell by what's addressed and comments or not. So I always, like I said, I always appreciate hearing from you guys, knowing that there are other real people out there, because in this world, it's just a lot of, what's the word to say, disingenuous actors, dishonest actors, and a lot of people that don't have your best interests at heart. So my point of view on any of these things is just come out and give an honest opinion on what it is. You don't have to pretend to know everything, because I can't know everything, and I'm fine saying that. I think oftentimes the people with the lowest IQs are always so nervous that someone's going to find out that they have low IQ. But the way to improve, your knowledge and stuff like that is to just learn every day. If you spend your time learning every day, learning something new, having a different perspective on something every single day, it starts to add up over time, right? So that's why I always mention my age. I'm 49. A lot of people think I'm a lot younger, but no, I'm 49, and I stay young because I stay active with my mind, which I know if a lot of people in the community are older, and you do the same thing too, right? If you're watching this or whatever hobbies you have, etc., always keep your mind active. It gives you something to think about throughout the day, a new thing, new perspective, and you get keeps just getting stuck in your old ways kind of thing. And you'll realize though is that when you look for it, and this is sort of the beauty of different perspectives, is there's all kinds of cool things to learn every day and cool people to hang out with. So you don't have to hang out with the let's say the old fuddy-duddy of the Trump crowds who want that old crusty world of the 1950s, or maybe he's going for the 1890s or whatever Trump's going for, or the Musky worlds are basically a bunch of trolls. And even Musk himself says that when I see the troll museum, it looks like looking in a mirror. Not everyone's like that, and you don't have to be like that. So do appreciate your time, everyone. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this stuff, whether or not Musk is buying TikTok, and I'll catch you all in the next video.